All right, thank you, Tom. Well, we have a very inspirational guest with us this morning, and here to share their story is Natalie Bauman from the Pottsboro area. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's cold out there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It sure is. Well, you have become an author. Tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started with writing.
Well, I've always enjoyed writing, but I was in a job just as a secretary and clerk and so forth, and I was diagnosed with a lot of very serious autoimmune diseases and psoriatic arthritis and so forth, and it became more and more disabling.
Okay.
And I got to the point where I wasn't able to work full time, and I got to the point where my job wanted me to work full time and I wasn't able to, so I got laid off. And rather abruptly, it was kind of a surprise, and it was kind of depressing.
Sure.
And I'm sure a lot of people find themselves in that situation sometimes, and you know, they feel bad, and they're sick and they feel hurt, and they think, well, here I am, I'm 55 years old and I'm not going to be able to get a job anywhere else and start over. What am I going to do? But you know, I felt bad for a little while, but then I thought, you know, I'm not the sort of person that sits and just thinks about what's bad, you know. God wants me to think about what's good and take what's good. And so I thought, what is it that I like to do? I need to change my life. I can't do what I did before. I was always the person that, believe it or not, was athletic. I like to do things outside and walk and jog and so forth. I gained a lot of weight because I was on a lot of prednisone. I couldn't do that anymore. So I thought, well, I like to do research on history. And I thought, well, that's one thing I can do, is I can do something on the computer, and I like local history, and the Pottsboro area has tons of local history, and that's something that was largely ignored. You know, they talk about Holland Coffee and Glen Eden, and then they move on.
Right.
When it comes to the Pottsboro area, and maybe they talk about the building of the lake and so forth. And I thought, there are so many interesting people and interesting things that have been there, and they all have a story. Everybody has a story, and they're all important. And they're all fascinating.
So you started out with writing articles that were in the local newspaper there, and now those articles or other pieces have been put into books.
Yes. Yes, I started a website, the Pottsboro Genealogy Facebook page, Old Times Remembered, and I got that article from that. And he says, why don't you write a book? So I did, and it just kind of caught on, because that's something that nobody had.
Sure.
Any of the history books, there were only just a few things mentioned about Pottsboro. And now I've gotten to the point where I've written 6. I'm working on a couple more Pottsboro history books.
Wow.
And they're doing pretty well, you know.
Good.
People that know about it. And I've written a book about, an inspirational book about Lake Texoma as well. It's an art book. I love to take pictures too.
So all sorts of things out there for folks. Well, we're almost out of time here, but if folks want to purchase one of your books, how do they go about getting it?
Well, they can go to Amazon.com, and all my books are at the Book Rack in Denison on Main Street.
Okay.
And also they can go to the Touch of Class Antique Mall. Some of them are at the Main Street Mall in Denison. And Patsy's restaurant in Pottsboro has them.
Okay.
But Amazon has all of them.
Okay, great. Well, we'll also get all this on our website at KXII.com.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in this morning and
thank you.
sharing your story. Keep it here. We'll be right back.